everyone, and welcome back to Shattered Silence, Stories of Recovery and Resilience. My name is Jori, and today I am here with Lindsay and Cassidy. Ladies, thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you.
Cassidy actually wrote to the Instagram just to kind of come on and tell your guys' story of losing Gabriel and also of starting your foundation, Gabriel's Gifts.
Yes.
So we'll kind of go into just the backstory, what happened, and then get into your foundation.
Okay, cool.
So go ahead and start. Just start from the beginning, wherever you want to start. This is your This is your story to share.
Okay, cool. So about 5 years ago in October, I had been recently divorced. It had been kind of contentious, which of course you would expect from a divorce. It's not like a pleasant experience. But my ex-husband had been struggling, and there had been a few years of just like daily battles or whatever. So we had split up and we had 50-50 custody. And I had been warned, my son at the time, so I had 3 kids, Adrian, who was 9 at the time, Eliana was 7, and Gabriel was 6. And so I had gone to meet him for our custody drop-off because it was kind of during COVID. So COVID was still going. And so we had the week on, week off because they weren't really in school yet. And so we had that schedule going. And I never knew which version of him I was going to get because a lot of times, and she can attest to this, he would call me like, why are we divorced? We should be getting back together. He would tell her the same thing, like maybe in 10 years. But at the same time, he had a whole other life that he was like building. So sometimes he'd come and he'd be in a great mood and nice. And then other times he'd come and it was not so great. And so this time was one of those times that was not so great. I had just gotten a bulldog. I tell this part because it seems relevant to me, but of course it's just like in hindsight, you don't really know, but that's just how it felt.
Right.
But I had just gotten a bulldog and I brought him that day to show my parents. And when we went to drop off my kids with him in our meeting spot, he was immediately agitated that I had a bulldog. And I don't know, I'm speculating, but I don't know if it's because we had talked about when we were married, like that was my dream dog. And here he is seeing me with this bulldog. And he was just really agitated about it and accusing me of like, oh, you can afford a bulldog, but you can't pay me the $100 for the dentist. And I had been like, what are you talking about? You know, I had been gifted the dog. So I tried to like explain it to him. I'm trying to like soothe him. Like, no, it's not what you think. Like, it's fine. I'll give you the money when I have it. But he was just very irritable. And at that time, my oldest son had been having severe anxiety to be going to their dad and his girlfriend's house. He would cry and like beg to stay home. And when you have a court order, I can't just like keep you.
Yeah.
And there were times where I had allowed him, his dad had been like, all right, fine, he can stay. So when we went that day, my son, Adrian, was feeling like my stomach hurts, you know, and my ex-husband was like going up to the door, like, well, then just stay with your mom, you know, kind of being like irritable towards our son even. And I kind of stepped in and I'm like, hey, you know, it's okay. It's probably the Del Taco we just ate. Just relax. It's fine. You know, go have fun with your dad. But his dad's just kind of like over here just making comments. So I'm trying to ignore him. I give all my kids a hug and a kiss goodbye, walk up to his car, which is a Suburban. And I'm like, love you. Bye. We'll see you guys in a week. And then I left. And I actually had a few exchange of words with my ex-husband, which in retrospect was kind of sad because he was still just like going. And I had made a comment, which I will not forget, which was just because you're a pathological liar doesn't mean I am, because he kept accusing me of lying about getting the dog for free, which was so stupid. Like it was so dumb.
Like, why would I lie about that?
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like such a small detail in the story, but I remember it because him and I were I was trying not to go back and forth, but I made a comment at the end of like, just because you're a pathological liar who lies about everything doesn't mean everyone else is.
Yeah.
And I got in my car and I left. And
then you called me.
Oh, did I call you?
Because we'd been having family drama at the time. And it was a really big deal.
My family was not, my ex-husband and I had kind of been placed on a pedestal of like, this is what marriage looks like. So when we split, my whole family was in complete shock. My sisters, who had grown up with him since they were 10, 8 years old, were not doing good.
Oh, yeah, I was devastated.
Yeah.
I mean, for lots of different reasons, I was devastated.
Mm-hmm. But there were things, in my marriage that were private that like I wasn't sharing with people or, a lot of things. So when things started coming out, it was a huge shock.
Well, and I was, younger then too. And with the shock, we were raised in a traditional family. So it was like, what do you mean you're going to get a divorce? Like, and you guys, like, wait, what? But the problem was that he was feeding me and my other sisters, this victim story. But my sister was keeping their stuff private. So she wasn't telling us what the deal was. And I'm over here having my, because at the time I called him my brother. I would never have introduced him as my brother-in-law. He was my brother.
Yeah.
And so at the time I have my brother telling me, I want our family. Your sister won't stay. Your sister refuses to work it out. And so I'm like, Lindsay, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. And then as time went on, she started to share. And that day she called me. And the moment I won't forget of the whole story too is she called me and was venting, saying, he's being an a-hole and whatever. And I made a comment that I will never forget. And I didn't mean it at the time. But I think I meant it at the time. But in retrospect, of course, I didn't mean it with the weight. But I said at the time, because she was, venting, and I'm a very protective sister. Like, I could get crazy sometimes, known in the past, if it was about my sisters or their kids. And so this whole situation with the family falling apart was detrimental to me. And seeing what was happening to my sister, what was happening to the kids, like, I was like, what is happening, So when she called and was venting, I said out of frustration, I said, God, our life would be so much easier if he just died. And then...
Yeah,
and it's not, like you said, it's not like you meant it in that
well, and
moment,
I think
you're frustrated.
I think in the
like,
moment,
my gosh.
I was just so hurt by someone I valued and trusted so deeply.
Absolutely.
And to see him not just betray me in my own sibling way, but to betray my sister, who's everything to me, and then betray his kids and put his kids in terrible positions.
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't bear that. Like, that was very, very difficult for me, especially because it was super out of character for the brother that I knew.
Totally.
He was, I picked my husband based on her husband because he was everything that I was like, oh my gosh, that's the kind of man I want to be with. Like, if God forbid my dad didn't make it and I got married, my brother-in-law is walking me down the aisle, like my brother, So then to have this whole other side come out.
It was very shocking.
It was really difficult for me
it's
to
just
deal
like
with that.
Like a completely different side of him that you weren't expecting.
Totally different
Oh my
person.
gosh. It was as if everything I knew was a lie.
Literally, you
And
start to question, like, did I know you at all?
It was really, I took it really, really hard.
Yeah.
And so when she had called, there was a lot of reasons why I said that. Like, and it was just out of at the time, my coping mechanism was anger. It did not, any sadness did not come off as I'm going to cry.
Right.
Instead, I'm like giving the finger and telling you to F off.
This is a paid message from Amelia Malloy's Angels. Did you know that 1 in 6 couples struggle with infertility, often facing emotional stress and the high cost of treatments? That's where Amelia Malloy's Angels, a nonprofit organization, steps in. Serving Kern County since 2022, Amelia Malloy's Angels provides family grants, comfort kits, and monthly support groups that bring hope, financial assistance, and spiritual care to couples who need it. If you would like to support families walking through infertility, you can become an Angel of Hope with a minimum monthly gift of $25, join their prayer team, or sponsor or host a monthly support group. Visit their website at www.ameliamalloysangels.com.
But anyways, I felt like that detail is important because of, as sisters, we're just talking on the phone and she's venting her frustration after, transitioning the kids, and I'm venting frustration as a sister, as an aunt, as a ex-sister, that I'm like, what is wrong with him? What is he doing?
Yeah.
And it was just so out of character.
It really was.
And so it was hard.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Especially involving the kids, too.
Oh, that was the
That's
worst
what
part.
sets you
That
off,
was the
right?
worst part. Like,
Yes.
it was out of everything, I was like, look, if you're not going to be my brother, if you're going to, have this whole other life and be a POS, then so be it. But don't do anything different for the kids.
kids
Like,
should be your
be
number one.
Be the
still.
same really good dad that we know you to be. Like,
Totally.
Like, that's okay. And it was like, he was not just switching with us. He was switching who he was as a dad and seeing how it was affecting my older nephew. And, you know, all of it was just like.
It was really hard.
It was just really difficult.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really hard. And so after that, I'm driving home and he texts me again, you know, I can't believe you could afford a dog, but not the $100 for the dentist. And I didn't respond because I'm like, the kids are gone. We're done. Like, I don't have to engage with you anymore.
Yeah.
And so I got home, and my husband now was just my boyfriend at the time, but we were hanging out and relaxing. And I'm not really sure how much later it was. It had to have been
very many hours.
It had to have been a couple because I think it was dark by that time. And I had dropped them off around 4 p.m. And then all of a sudden I get a call from his mom, my ex-mother-in-law, and I'm like, I cannot deal with you. Like, I don't want to deal with any of you people. So, and she's super nice, but I was just like,
no, I don't have to deal with
I don't have to deal with you.
Like, nope.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but then she left a voicemail like, you need to call me immediately. The kids have been in a car accident. And I was like, what?
Oh, man.
So I called her back. She tells me the kids were in a car accident. Marcos, which is my ex-husband, is in critical condition. Eliana and Adrian are at the hospital, and they have a social worker there, but they need an adult, like a
guardian.
A guardian, yeah, sorry. And also, they can't find Gabriel. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean they can't find Gabriel? He was in the car. Like, he was with them. Sorry, my nose is running. And she's like, I don't know. You just need to get to the hospital. We're at Loma Linda. They can't find Gabriel, but the other 2 kids are here. I'm like, are they okay? What's happening? You know, if their dad's in critical condition, what's the status of my kids? Like, and she's like, I don't know. Just get to the hospital. So my then boyfriend and I and his daughter all jump in the car, and it's like a 45-minute to an hour drive to where we had to go. And when I say that I was in pure panic, it's undescribable.
Yeah.
Like the amount of panic that I felt. I called my parents because they live closer out that way. And I was like, the kids have been in an accident. I need you to get to Loma Linda immediately. My mom's like, absolutely. So her and my dad immediately rush to go to Loma Linda to see how Adrian and Eliana are. We start driving out there. I'm calling hospitals. Do you have a 6-year-old boy? There was an accident here. No one had him. My ex's girlfriend at the time, or fiance, she, from what I was told, was a nurse. So I called her, and she did not like me. So we did not have
problems there.
Yeah.
And not on my fault, not on my side.
Yeah.
I was like fine to co-parent. She did not like me. And so I even called her because I'm like, you work at a hospital?
Yeah.
What does this mean? Where is my son? How can I find him? I asked my boyfriend, my husband, I'm like, what if he's dead? And he's like, he's not dead. He's not dead. I'm like, but what if he's dead? And he's like, he's not. She told me to call the charge nurse at the hospital. So I called the charge nurse and I said, look, I'm trying to find my son. I don't understand. Could it have been that he's been injured and he was taken somewhere else? Like, what do you, she's like, just get here. And I said, well, I remember vividly telling her, this isn't you like telling me you can't find him, but really he's dead and you're just waiting for me to get there. Is it? Like, that's not what's happening. And she like exhaled and was just like, just get here as safely as you can. And I knew in that moment, like, dang, like you still have hope like deep inside, but like, and so we were just driving there and I'm like, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. And then it was kind of a bummer moment in the sense of we had a family friend who was California Highway Patrol and he had called our other sister and told her that, so she called me and said, hey, I heard that Gabriel is not dead, but that he's in severe, severe critical condition. This is what the CHP told me. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, like a little jolt of hope.
Right.
So when we get there, they immediately, my husband and his daughter are still in the waiting room, and I get ushered back immediately. And I'm walking with like a doctor, and there's another lady there who I later knew to be, what are those people called that you wanted to do that help with grief in
oh my gosh.
I can't remember what they're called, but
oh my gosh, I can't remember right now.
Yeah, they're like the people that when someone loses someone, they're there.
Child life specialist.
Child life specialist.
Okay.
And they
what I
help
wanted to do.
you and the kids when someone dies. They're there like immediately. But I didn't know that's what she was. And so I said, I heard that my son might be alive, but is in really critical condition. Like, is that true? And she just like stopped me and she said, who told you that? And I was like, oh no. Oh no. And so I get brought into a room and my parents are there. Meanwhile, by the way, I had gotten a text from my parents that like Adrian and Eliana are fine. They're not injured. They're miraculously, like my daughter had kind of cracked her collarbone from the seatbelt, and my son had like some seatbelt burns, but that was it. And we were just like so lucky
like
there.
One side of the car.
Yeah.
They crawled
and
out
he
the
was,
other side.
Oh my
he was behind my ex-husband behind the driver's side.
Gabriel was.
Yeah, Gabriel was. But when I get there, immediately the CHP was like, we were at an accident at the Cajon Pass, and we found a child deceased at the scene. And I immediately yell no, and like I'm screaming and crying because my parents start crying, and I'm just like, you're kidding. And I think at some point the memory of it is a little splotchy because obviously it was just like the most traumatic moment ever.
Right.
But I had been informed at some point, and I cannot remember by who, but that he had been drinking.
It was Adrian.
I don't know if Adrian had told me maybe a couple months before, Dad, we stop in, every time you drop us off, or not every time, but sometimes when you drop us off, we go to the gas station and we'll get drinks, and, he'll get beer and drink it. And I was like, what? No, he's not drinking alcohol. Are you sure it's not like a rock star? And he's like, no, it's Modelo. And I was like, okay. So I had confronted their dad, like, hey, and he's like, no, it's energy drinks. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, he can read. Like,
Yeah,
he told
that's what
me.
he said, Modelo.
Yeah, like,
right.
he can read. It's tall cans.
Yeah.
I know what he's, And if you would have told me that he would drink and drive with our children, I would never.
I would have put money that would
Never.
never happen.
Yeah.
When we split up, everything just his mental health and everything just plummeted.
Yeah.
And I knew that he was struggling, but like, I'm not your person anymore.
Yeah.
I had to have boundaries.
Yeah,
I couldn't
absolutely.
be that for you. And so when I confronted him and let him know that he would not do that, because now I'm aware the kids know,
Right.
and I hadn't heard it since then. So honestly, it wasn't on my radar, but
Yeah.
I can't remember if Carly, our other sister, or someone had told me that they had heard there was alcohol in the car. And so when the CHP officer told me, I yelled, I shouldn't have let that POS take our kids. He was drinking and driving. And his mom was like, what? He was drinking? And like, she didn't know. And it ended up coming out that he had, there was the smell of alcohol on his breath. When they crashed, he decided to take a 2-lane road next to the freeway to bypass traffic, because going up the 15 freeway in the Cajon Pass is like terrible. And so he had taken a side road, and it's a 2-lane, and there had been many reports that someone was recklessly going around and trying to pass people, and he tried to pass on a turn. And my kids said the last thing they heard was him say, oh shit. And he veered head on into a young woman, hit her car, and she died. The car flipped like 4 or 5 times, landed upside down. They were impacted by 3 other vehicles.
Oh
my ex-husband had no seatbelt on and was ejected from the vehicle. And my other 2 kids were upside down in the car and had to unbuckle and climb out of the car in the glass. And thankfully someone had stopped and seen the accident.
An angel lady.
And went and grabbed my kids and took them and held them there until the firefighters came. And I guess there was spilled alcohol in the car, like IPAs, and his breath smelled of alcohol. And I found out later that I think they airlifted him. Once they airlifted my ex-husband, they did the blood test or whatever, and his blood level, even like 3 hours later, was still well above the level. And so just like sickening.
Yeah.
Sickening. And so Gabriel, from what I know, was deceased on the site. I don't think he suffered.
Well, and I had a really weird experience.
Yeah.
Like later, my husband ended up becoming a fireman for the same department that went on scene. And twice we had these random encounters where we just so happened I met the main captain who was on the call.
Yeah.
And he ended up asking if he could talk to me. And when he talked to me, this grown man, old enough to be our dad, he sobbed his eyes out and told me very professionally but emotionally that, they got a call about an accident. When they pulled up, they saw my niece and nephew. He said, because the captain's job on the call is he's in charge of everything. Like, make sure everyone's taken care of. He's in charge of the paperwork. He's the number one guy. So he tells everyone what to do. So he said he saw Adrian and Eliana, put his paramedics with them, made sure they were good. They said, we can't find my brother. Then he went over to the car. He said he climbed under. Might make me emotional.
It's okay.
He climbed under and he saw Gabe. And he thought, oh, there he is, So he climbed under and he got him. And when he unbuckled him and he got out from under the car, that was when he realized that he had already passed.
Because he had said that normally they don't remove them. They leave them.
Yeah, they won't touch you if you have already passed.
But they thought he was still alive. And so, that brought some comfort.
Yeah, so he brought him out and he said that, once he realized, that he had already passed, he put paramedics with him anyways.
To try
had them try, which at the time he didn't know, but that was really hard for me to accept that, even if he was gone at the scene, he's 6.
That he was just left there.
You have to try, he's a baby, And I get logically, if you already know, what's the point of trying? But when you're picturing your 6-year-old, family member, you're like, there's no way you just left him.
You just leave him
what?
there. He's a little...
So when he told me that he tried anyways, I was like, oh my God, you don't know how much I needed to know that, because it was just killing me thinking, God, I get there's nothing you could do, but try,
baby, don't think of your child like that.
Yeah, I was just what? And so it was just crazy because he had shared a lot too about how it was, the captain, he's closer to retirement age. And he said out of his whole career, this was the call that had affected him the most. And he was super upset when he realized that Gabe had passed. And he had to kind of take a walk because he was emotional and was like, no, because they wanted to help, Right. And so that did bring comfort to me at that time in my healing journey because it had been maybe 2 years, I think, since that had happened, that I just organically met this guy.
Yeah.
And we were like...
I feel like there's no accidents there.
You can't make this up. And mind you, yes, he works for San Bernardino County Fire. Could we have maybe tracked these people down? Sure, but I didn't go out of my way to find anybody.
Right.
I never looked for anybody. It just so happened to organically come up.
Right.
And I was like, what?
When those things happen, you're just like that was meant to happen.
I
totally needed that closure.
God knew I needed
to hear that closure.
Yeah, I needed to know that people at least tried.
Yeah.
You know? Because it's
it's really impossible to imagine your child dead in a car seat.
Yeah.
You can't.
I can't imagine.
He wasn't even my kid, and it makes me sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not funny, but you know what I mean? You just
yeah.
can't. But even when your kids are alive, your worst fear is something happening.
Absolutely.
So then.
Then it does, and you're like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you just somehow keep going.
Yeah, it's
and people are like, you're so strong. You're like, well, what else do I do?
Yeah, what other choice do I have?
Yeah, I have 2 other kids
and that's what I was gonna say. You I'm sure your biggest motivation of even pulling yourself out of this grief afterwards is just, which it's never over. I know that.
Right.
But just that motivation to be there for your kids because your kids need you more than ever.
Totally.
And that was my motivation. After Kyle passed, I'm like, okay, now I'm a single mom that I wasn't expecting to be of an 8-month-old baby, but
and he didn't ask to be here. He still needs you.
Yeah, I have to be here.
Yeah,
I have to. After I put him to sleep, sure, let me go cry, but I gotta be here for my boy, and that's just thank God I have that to help us navigate this life now. You know.
Yeah,
but it's true.
I had the opposite because my husband and I don't have kids, and so my sisters, all 3 of my sisters, they all have kids, and so I'm the fun, crazy, cool aunt, right? And I take that role very seriously.
Yeah.
They're all, I call them, they all know they're my angels. They're all the kids are my angels, and with not having kids of my own, I don't know a deeper love than the love I feel for my sister's kids.
Yeah.
Like, I know logically if I had my own, of course, I will love them probably more and deeper, right?
Yeah.
But this is the deepest love I've ever felt for anybody.
Right.
Is the love I feel for my sister's kids. And that's the closest thing I've ever had to my own children.
Right.
And so the loss for me, I took extremely hard. And people consistently, even still to this day, are like, well, you know he wasn't your son, right? And I'm like, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Actually, really?
Wait,
that's
really?
news to me, actually.
Yeah.
But, I just, over the years, I've learned, like, people just ignorantly don't know that the comments that they make are, like, so insensitive and, like, you're just like, okay. But
Like, we'll try and just forget you said that.
yeah, I'm
That's
just going to
kinda
go
crazy.
ahead. I'm going to go ahead and try to let that go.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
in those moments, it's like you want to, like, either freak out and yell at this person or be like, F you.
Yeah, seriously.
Like,
you
what?
have no idea.
I even had a family member, a distant family, like a second cousin family member, say, and we were at a family party, say to me, hey, I know that you've taken this really hard with your nephew, but, like, he's not your son, right? And you can move on.
People are so
And-
rude.
Cannot.
And my husband was standing right there. And thankfully, because I go to therapy so much, I learned, self-control and impulse and whatever.
That's hard to have self-control in that
Because I
kind of
wanted
moment,
to
though.
turn and be like, beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
beep,
Yeah.
and with a right hook. But instead, I just turned and said, what I find crazy is that you wouldn't be absolutely devastated by the loss of an innocent child in your family. Like, that actually blows my mind that people think they could get over that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because you don't.
Yeah.
because you don't.
No, it will never.
No.
leave.
I will never get over this.
Yeah.
And I don't care that he wasn't my son.
Yeah.
I will never get over
Yeah.
it. Like,
It doesn't matter that he
What?
was not your physical son. Like,
Right,
it's
like-
about your relationship and your connection with that person. And
Yeah.
so
Totally.
you guys were close. So
Yeah.
obviously you're going to take it hard.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
he's-
terrible.
I can't
Absolutely
believe
terrible.
that people even have the audacity to say
I know,
things
it's really
like that.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it
It
just
is
really shows
crazy.
me, like, the level of loss that they've experienced in their life. Because
Right.
it's like, even if you don't know what to say, you know what not to say.
yeah.
Well, you
When
would
you
How
think.
lucky are you to not know how I
I was
feel?
just about to say, how
Yeah.
lucky that you don't understand.
Yeah, when people are like, I can't imagine, you're like, lucky you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because it's terrible.
lucky
How
you.
nice,
Yeah. Like, trust me, I wish I didn't know this
100%.
feeling.
Right, right.
I wish I didn't.
Yeah,
it's
and
terrible.
I had a different experience of that night.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same experience of the same tragedy, but a completely different experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
so how did you find out?
so
I know the phone call. I always talk about the
Yes,
phone
the
call.
phone call.
worst
It was horrible.
thing on
It's crazy because that day, I mean, prior to Gabe dying, again, I don't have kids. I do hair, so I loved to party. I was going out all the time. I mean, why wouldn't I,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
whatever. Mind
Just
you,
living your life.
it was
Yeah.
also during the COVID era, so it did get a little out of control. Now we were talking about that in retrospect.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, my family was trying to intervention me a little, but I was just living.
Yeah.
And that day, all my sisters were taking the kids to my parents. I lived 5 minutes from them, and I was hungover and I didn't want to go. But I remember thinking, well, the kids are going to be with Marcos for a week, so I'm not going to see them for like 2 weeks because then they'll be back with my sister. So I was like, I'm going to go. Like, I got to go. I have to see the kids, dude.
Yeah.
And thank God I did because
Yeah.
I went over, we all hung out. And that day, it's crazy too, because I always made the kids hug and kiss me when I left. Always. And this night, I didn't do this. And it was because I walked outside and all the kids are playing in the backyard. And Gabe specifically, I'm like, hey, come here. And they all call me Tita. And I'm like, come here, come give Tita love. Come here, come here. And they turn and look. And then all of a sudden, I'm thinking, well, the kids aren't going to get to see each other and they're playing, having a great time. Like, I don't want to pull them from each other. So I was like, actually, never mind. And I was like, hey, I love you. Hey, look at Tita. I love you. And he turned and looked at me and he's like, love you, Tita. And he waved. And like, I'm glad I have that, of course, but I wish I would have hugged him,
Yeah.
like so bad. But I did hug him when I got there. He was all like, Tita, look at my new glasses, and like showing me parkour. He was all into that at the time.
Yeah.
It was so cute. But
6-year-old.
yeah, it was so cute, dude. He's like jumping in the air. He's like, watch this. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Like holding onto the couch, legs up in the air.
Right,
You're
you're
like,
like,
oh, dang.
yeah,
that was a
wow,
cool
that just
trick.
rocked my world, you know?
Yeah. Aspire Counseling Services provides caring, personalized support for adults and teens facing mental health challenges. From group therapy to mindfulness, art, and even pet therapy, their programs are designed to help people feel better and build healthier habits. Teens can get the support they need while still keeping up with school and home life. You can reach Aspire at 888-585-7373.
But so I said bye, right? And I went home, and it had only been a couple hours. I don't think it had been more than 3.
They crashed dropped them off at 4, and I think they had crashed by 5.
Yeah,
and
like,
I
it
had
was
gone
quick.
to the hospital by 7 when I found out about it, but they had crashed very quickly after.
So our youngest sister, she calls me, and she lived literally 2 streetlights down from me. And she calls, and she's like, have you talked to Mom? And I'm like, no, why? She's like, something's wrong. Something happened, like the kids got in a car accident. And I'm immediately like, what? And before, I wasn't even... I didn't even think. I think I had a sports bra on and like shorts. I didn't even grab shoes. I walked into my husband, because that's another thing. We had gotten married July 18th of 2020. And then October 18th of 2020, the accident happened.
Oh my gosh.
So we started my marriage with unreal but very real circumstances.
Yes.
When I'm over here thinking like, we're going to be newlyweds, and like joke's on me. It was COVID. We had to move our wedding twice, and like all these different things were happening.
Yeah.
And then the accident happened on our wedding anniversary, and that definitely traumatized me going forward. However, my sister tells me, I go into my husband and he's with our dogs. I'm like, the kids are in an accident. I'm going to my sister's. And I just left, and I drive down the street. As soon as I get there, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And my sister's outside, and she has her kids inside, and she's like, I don't know, but something's off. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, what's off?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And then my parents pull up. And my mom, she's worked in the medical field our whole life.
She's usually like the calm, cool, collective.
She never, in my
Panics.
whole life, I've never seen my mom panic, ever. And she's always said, if I panic, then you can panic.
Yeah.
And I saw my mom's face because they had my other sister, Carly's baby at the time. So they pulled up to my sister's where I was, dropped the baby off, and they leave. But I saw my mom's face, and I was like,
This is not
oh
good.
no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. So then we're panicked, right? We're trying to get a hold of everybody. And I'm on the side of my other sister's getting a hold of the CHP friend. But we're getting multiple different stories. We're being
that was
told,
like the hardest part.
Yeah.
it was
because
so-
then you get this little hope. Like you said.
I mean, I was dry heaving in my sister's driveway because we're getting told everybody died. No one survived. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm like dry heaving. And then it's, wait a second. Only an adult died. No kids died. And then you're like, wait, what? And like, of course, mind you, even at that time, I'm begging God not to let Marcos die.
Right.
Because you don't want him to die.
I did not want him to die.
Right.
No,
Okay.
it was not great,
And-
but you want him to be healthy and not
And despite my hurt
and be there for my kids.
and pain, like, I would never wish death upon anyone.
Right.
No.
And despite the ignorant comment I made hours prior, I was just like, also like, please God, don't let him die. Because I'm thinking, my brother, wait, what the hell is happening? Like, I was all over, you know? It was very chaotic and stressful. And then we're getting told, you know, oh, wait a second, 2 of the kids are okay. We don't know where one of the kids is. Oh, wait a second. No, there was not 3 kids in the car. No, you guys are wrong. There was only 2. And we're like, no.
Like, where is all this
God.
information
We're
coming
like-
from?
pulled in so many different
And I'm like,
directions.
what the, like, what? Like,
Yeah.
honestly, and it's weird, like, my body, I can, like, feel it. It's like, I was losing my mind. Like the phrase having a mentee be, like, that was actually happening to me. Like,
for
like
sure.
I was like, what in the hell is going on? Then my husband comes, because I think I called him, and I'm like, you need to get down here. There's something wrong, right? And at this point, like she's saying, I knew in my gut something bad was going on. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought Gabe died, but I think at the time I was thinking, you know, the kids are really hurt and Marcos is probably going to die. Like, but even then I couldn't wrap my brain around that Marcos was going to die. Like, I was like, what is going on, you know? And so we're there, my husband shows up, and I'm like, what if one of the kids dies? Like, what if one of, and he's like, listen, kids get in accidents all the time. Kids get taken to the hospitals all the time. It's protocol, you know, don't stress.
He's a firefighter.
So he's a fireman, so he's trying to keep me calm, and I'm nothing but calm. I'm like, this is not okay. Like, something's wrong. Like, I'm like freaking out, right? And so then finally we get a picture from my dad, Adrian and Eliana, you know, thumbs up. And I'm just like, oh, thank God. Like, okay, maybe this isn't as bad as we actually thought. Like, wait a second. And then it's like, Gabe is nowhere to be found. And I'm like, what?
What do you mean?
Like, it just does not make any sense.
Like, what do you mean?
What does that
They really have to do a better job at, like
it was like,
delivering
it was
information.
just, it was so terrible. And so then I remember viscerally thinking, well, they were on they were going up a mountain. Did he freaking get ejected? Is he on the side of the road? Like, does no one know to look for him? Like, I mean, I'm dry heaving on the side of my sister's yard because I'm like picturing, where the hell is Gabriel?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And
It's
then,
unfathomable.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, as I'm
laughing,
even
but
telling
it's
it,
not
it's just
funny.
like, it feels like I'm telling you a story, but it's like the realest thing of my life. It's so
Yeah.
weird. And so then however long later, my dad calls and I answer and he's like, I need you to stay very calm and I need to tell you something and I need you to listen to what I'm going to say. And I was like, okay. And he's like, Gabriel didn't make it. And I was like, what? And he's like, Gabriel passed away. And I I fell on the ground. And my sister's driveway was like gravel rock. And I literally, I fell on the ground. And I don't know. I think I blacked out. I completely blacked out.
Yeah.
And then after sobbing for however long on the floor, I don't know, it was like adrenaline or something came over me. I couldn't sit here anymore. It was like, holy, I don't know what happened. And I get up, and mind you, I wasn't thinking I want to harm myself. I was thinking I've never felt a pain like this in my life. This is unbearable. I cannot feel like this for another second. And it was subconscious almost,
Yeah.
I was not consciously thinking I need to kill myself, but I think shock took over my body.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
And next thing I knew, I'm walking down my sister's driveway and I see a car coming, and without any thought, I just walk right towards the car in the street.
Oh, my gosh.
And my husband snatched me out of the street, and he's never, in the 10 years we've been together, he's never raised his voice at me. He's never yelled at me. He's very, very calm. We're very yin and yang. And he snatches me out of the street and he yells, he's like, what are you doing? You're not doing this. You cannot do that. And I just collapsed, just absolutely collapsed. I was in shock for, I can't even tell you how long. I couldn't eat. I couldn't shower. I couldn't sleep. I ended up, all I could do was sit in my garage, smoke, and cry. I could not do anything.
Yeah.
I stopped working. Literally, I went from such an outgoing person with a really social life and so many friends and all these things to nothing else matters. I'm going to die. I'm not going to make it through this. Holy, what just happened? What just happened to me? What is going on,
Yeah.
And so then it was okay, well, everyone's going to go home now.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
And it was what?
I got to leave that day. Take my 2 kids.
We're
That
just
feels so weird.
It is weird. And as I'm listening to her, her experience, I'm thinking about being told that my son died, and immediately I have to now go see my other kids and then tell them, by the way, your brother died.
Yeah.
Which was terrible. They screamed.
it was horrible.
They were like, what? No, we could have saved him. What do you mean? And you're like, no, you couldn't. And you're trying to be I'm crying because you cannot help but cry. But you have to tell them your brother didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then oh, we have to identify him and we're going to need you to come to the coroner. And my dad immediately was absolutely not. Her mom and I will. So I have this still a little bit of guilt because my kids saw their brother dead and their dad dead, because he ended up dying a day later because he was
essentially
dead, but they took him off the machines. But my kids experienced this death, and I didn't have to. My last memory of my son is giving him a hug.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And saying I love you.
Yeah. I can't even imagine how they were feeling. You know, I know that probably haunts them.
100%.
I mean, I just knowing tragedy as a young kid as well. You know, my I don't know if you heard that my best friend passed away when I was 10.
Oh no.
She was hit by a car and we were riding bikes together.
Oh my gosh.
So just being able to like also kind of like understand, because your son was 9, right?
Or he was 6 when he passed.
Well,
Adrian.
Oh,
older
Adrian,
son,
yes, sorry, 9, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like that age, like you're in 4th, 5th grade.
Yes.
How do you deal with that? I lost a friend, but he lost a dad and brother, and I feel like that's even heavier.
Yes.
I mean, obviously way heavier, but it's like, man, it just it changes you as a child.
It really does.
And I can't imagine as a mom, like, you know, seeing your kids go through that while also having to carry your own grief.
That was like the hardest part. And I think, thankfully, I had done some therapy after my divorce or during my separation. So I feel like I had some tools. But honestly, telling them that he died and then like the next day having to be like, I got the call and their dad died too, and having to pull them into the room and be like,
I was there for that.
Do that
And I
again.
remember being like,
yeah, and having to just tell them like, what did we tell you about where Gabriel, he's in heaven, and right, well, your dad's there too now. And the way they howled and screamed, I was like,
I remember thinking,
I don't know if we can recover from this.
yeah, I remember thinking, if the moment I found out Gabe died didn't kill me, this moment.
Yeah, because it was
it was horrible.
I cannot
and it's
imagine.
I've tried to like create an environment where my kids are able to share any of their memories, whether it's their dad or their brother. And for a long time, my kids would be like, I think we saw him upside down. I thought I saw blood coming out of his nose. Or like, oh, I didn't know Gabe was dead. And they're like telling it.
So
they tell
harsh.
you
We're
so,
like,
and you're just trying to like let them share their experience. But then as the mom, you want to vomit at these images that you're being told about your son. And you're just like, what the heck? And having to, like put truly with their dad, I feel zero anger or anything negative. I feel like there's a part of me that's like, oh, he was deeply struggling because if he was not, this would never, like, I could have like compassion for that. And so for whatever reason, I've been able to like, I'm also pretty good at compartmentalizing, which we were talking about on the way up, which could be a trauma response.
Or it's God, because I'm like, I feel opposite of her.
Yeah.
Well, it's truly my faith.
It's either,
I mean, but you just have to somehow.
On either side of the spectrum.
100%. I mean, and don't get me wrong. There's moments like on his birthday where I'm like, he should be here, but he's not because you made a poor choice, But even you just have to like, you're grieving and cry or whatever, but then let your kids have their moment and grieve. And my son took it very close to the chest, would get angry, and he would kind of self-harm, how boys do, like hitting himself and stuff. And so I had to put him in therapy pretty quickly because I'm like, I don't have the tools to help you, you know? And so...
Well, probably needing some tools yourself,
100%. Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's hard for us as adults.
Yes.
Like kids, I mean, are you kidding? It's crazy. And truly, that's kind of how this other project came about, was from this moment of recognizing just how limited to no resources there are for kids.
Right.
And so, yeah, we just, it was a rough, it sucked.
Yeah.
My sister carries herself so well and is able, like she's saying, with compartmentalizing. I'm like, I am opposite. I'm like, she's like, oh, this sucks. I'm like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life.
Honestly, I think truly, so I think it's my faith, honestly. Like, I'm very good at compartmentalizing, which is slightly a trauma response, okay? Like a coping mechanism probably from my childhood that I should dig deeper into therapy about. But also, I just have this faith that, like, this is not the end. Like, I will see my son again. And I don't have, I don't have people this view of like, oh, God took your son. Like, I don't think that. I think that, did he die before his time? Absolutely. But people have free will. And my ex-husband chose to drink and drive. And this is like collateral damage of one person's bad choice.
Right.
And, there's been so many little things, like right after he died, our dad's friend and his group of people who I don't know were all praying for us, and they had sent this text like we had this kind of vision of like Jesus. I meant to pull it up, but like Jesus on his knees cradling Gabriel, weeping over Gabriel and for you and your family because this wasn't supposed to be this way. And Gabriel waking up and like feeling concerned that he was going to see Jesus crying, but they just walked off hand in hand. And like I had these, and then the day of his memorial service, my aunt had sent me this picture. It was a rainy day, and she sent me a picture of a rainbow, and she's like, I just feel like I was supposed to share this with you. And unbeknownst to her, I've always felt like rainbows are like a sign of like, oh, God keeps his promises.
Oh, he drew this on my birthday card.
I have one too on my card.
So we did it.
And so I got this rainbow, and I'm like, I felt like she was telling me, God's reminding, like, I felt like God was like, I keep my promises. Like, this is not the end of your guys' story. Eternity is here one day. And then a week later, I'm cleaning out his stuff, and I found this card that says, I love Mom, and his rainbow. So I just have had these like moments, I think, that kind of sustain me and allow me to be like, yeah, this is the absolute worst thing that's ever happened, and nothing could ever top this. But also, I just have hope and faith that it's not the end.
Right.
Because I'm really, that's the only way you can carry on. I don't know how you could carry on with the idea that like, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
like,
it.
When my cousin passed, my aunt, after Kyle had passed, was talking to me, and she was just like, you know, just don't look at like the bigger picture because it's too overwhelming.
Oh, yeah,
like just take it like day by day. And I know it's like you hear that all the time, but it's like you really have to, because
100%.
I mean, if you really sit there and think about the bigger picture, she's right. It's like so incredibly overwhelming and so incredibly sad, and you just can't like, how is this my new reality?
100%.
Like, how is this my new reality?
And you're over here like, wait a second. I mean, I'm 31. I could live another 50 years if I'm really lucky, right? And then I'll be like,
50 years of this
50
knowledge.
years of this.
Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
It's too much.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I'll start to be like,
It's too much
dear.
to carry.
Oh, dear. You know, but then I just try to remind myself, like, okay, well, if 5 years ago me could see today me, I wouldn't have even believed it.
Right. Yeah.
So I just have to hope that 5 years from now, I'm going to be like, wow, okay, I'm still trucking.
Yeah. We're still doing it.
Even though it
We're
feels
totally doing
like death every
Yeah.
step, I'm just like,
Yeah.
you have no choice. You either put the foot in front and keep going every day. Sometimes, I feel like some days you don't move. Sometimes I use the analogy of like, we're all on a mountain of life, right? Like we're on a hike, and sometimes I'm overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. My feet, I got blisters, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like to hike.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like to hike. So why am I on this hike, you know? And then I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Jump off the cliff? No, I'm going to go off on the side, take my backpack off, take my boots off, grab a little Cliff Bar out of my bag, lean up, catch a little sunlight, and try to just like catch my breath. You know, I'm not going to quit by diving off, even though there might be moments where I'm like, oh, that don't look so terrible, you know?
Right?
Like, I'm going to keep it 100. There's times where you're like, what if I just, you know? But then you're like, no, dude, because then you look back and you're like, look how much I've climbed already.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
It's just that
okay,
day by day.
I just got to take a break. And sometimes I've had months where, dude, I'm laying on that dirt on that mountain for months.
Yeah.
And I can't get up. And it's plaguing me. I cannot get up. Then there's days where I'm like, all right, girl, dust off those knees.
Right.
Dust off those boots. Strap them up. You're good. You can keep going, you know? So I try to remind myself of that because, you know, like you're saying, you can suffocate yourself.
Yeah. You really
Lost
can.
By thinking about it all.
Yeah. Because I had a period where I was like, I can't even look at pictures and videos.
Oh,
I
I still have
get
that.
myself.
Yeah.
I can't do it because I know it will suck me in maybe for days.
100%.
And just like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, the holidays just passed, you know, and I'm telling
horrible.
you, I just like, I was drained from it, you know?
Oh, I was like, can we get this over with?
Yeah. Can we be done? Okay,
It was
day
my
of
first,
Christmas.
like-
Let's take everything down.
Literally, I was
over
like,
it.
why am I so Grinch this year?
Yeah.
Like, I love Christmas.
Yeah.
And this year I was like, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
You know?
I know,
Like,
right?
this
Yeah.
sucks, dude.
I saw
Yes.
what you had posted the other day about like looking at pictures and all of that, and I was just thinking, man, I can so relate to that. Like whether it's the pictures of that you saw that pulled up that you were just like, are you kidding me?
Like,
of all the pictures. And then I have the opposite of like, what picture do I post? I've posted them all.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I only got 6 years.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be reposting pictures, the same pictures of him forever. And it's like sickening.
Right.
It's really hard to,
It's still hard to grasp.
100%.
Yeah.
And I can't, 5 years later, and I still, some days I'm like, it's so like, did this really happen? Is this my life? I'm still having to deal with this and still live with this and I still have moments where even now, 5 years later, where I'll be like, oh, we got to get food. What do Adrian and Elliot, what does Gabe want? And then I'm like,
I'll do that
wait,
too.
no,
Isn't
he
that
doesn't.
weird?
And was he real? Like, was he real?
Yes,
Because it
okay.
almost feels like he wasn't.
made him up.
It's like that part seems like a dream, not your reality.
Yes.
Now it's like, wait, was my life
Yes.
before that? That
was
was
that
the dream.
real? Yes.
I have totally
it's
100%.
so
And then
weird.
I can
that
see
way.
pictures of him, and I can viscerally remember how his little buzzed head felt, and his skin, and his little Flintstone feet. And I'm like, no, he was real, but it feels like not like a lifetime ago, but also yesterday, and like
Right.
it's just the
Time is like
weirdest.
the weirdest thing.
What is real?
Yeah.
It
Is
makes no
anything real?
sense.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It really
It
is.
makes no sense.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain that to someone like probably a year ago. I'm like, it feels like my life with Kyle was a dream. Not that like
Yes.
right now is a dream, even though it does seem like a dream right now. But why does my life before seem like the dream? It's just
Yeah, you're
it's
like,
just
did
a
I
weird-
make this
And then
up?
these, like
Was
the people
he-
that are not in this type of thing, they're like, what?
Are you okay?
Or they're like,
yeah.
okay. And you're over here like, no, this is the most real thing of all time. Am I in a dream?
Yeah.
Like,
It just doesn't make any
what
sense.
is going on?
It's so
It's like that
surreal.
movie Inception or
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
You're just in all these different
Because you're
realities.
like, I freaking gave birth to you. How do I even have a thought that you were not real? But
Right.
like, it feels like you weren't real, but
Yeah.
you were real.
It's your
And
brain.
I still,
And I feel
I think
like
trying
maybe,
just to cope with it because it's so
yeah, maybe that's the
something
shock
that we're
still.
not supposed to
Yeah.
understand or fathom.
Right.
It's unfathomable.
Yeah, it's like your brain is still trying to process how it could be real, and so you just keep. I don't know.
Yeah, you're trying to-
You're in a cycle.
Yeah, you're trying to
100%.
accept the
Cycle.
unacceptable.
yeah, exactly.
And that is like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
And no one knows. That's what's crazy. It's
I
like you
know.
can seek so much, and most people are like,
You just got to write it out.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Sorry,
man.
there's no right or wrong answer here. Like,
Totally.
it's just
And you're
everyone
like,
rides it out their
oh.
own way.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, how did after all of this, how did Gabriel's gifts come about?
Well, the irony of it is probably when I was like 14, I had seen this documentary on like human trafficking. And I immediately was like, I've always had a heart for like the broken, the lost. And I immediately had this like career idea, or not even a career, but like I want to work in the nonprofit sector. I want to work with broken people, prostitution, trafficking, refugees. Like I had this dream since I was probably 14. Nothing ever came to fruition. I even got my degrees to like align with working with a faith-based nonprofit or whatever, and nothing ever happened. So I was like, all right, well, I guess it's just not for me, and well, that's it. But then when Gabe died, all of a sudden, like maybe a year later, I was like, wait a second. I could do something here that is memorable and honors him, you know, because he was 6. So he loved presents. You know, his
That was his
birthday
thing.
was the best day of the year. Like
He would get mad when Eliana's birthday came first.
yeah, because he's like, how come your birthday's first? And like, well, it's just the way it falls on the calendar. And also she was born before you, you know, like it was just how it.
How do we explain this to them?
Yeah, exactly. And so I started thinking about, like we were talking about earlier, how there was really no resources for kids. I mean, there are some websites you can go on and you can get printables or whatever, but there's really nothing available that's tangible for kids that they can have. And I was struggling, like, what do I do for my kids? How do I help them other than therapy, which, you know, I have decent health insurance, and I called 200 therapists, and no one on my insurance saw kids under the age of 13.
No
It was
way.
all private practice, you know, $200 an hour. No one, like once they turn
yeah.
13, then we can see them. And I'm like, I would literally
Then
get,
what happens before?
Yeah, she was 7.
yeah, you know, 7 and
gosh,
9. And I'm like telling these therapists, like, what do you mean? Like my kids have
Yeah.
experienced a traumatic event, you know, divorce, COVID, accident that they lived through, the debt. Like, how do I? And they're like, I know it's not fair. Like, private practice. And so there was just like, I'm not joking, called 200 people. And
That's
so
very stressful times.
it was stressful.
So
and so I ended up
can't believe
finding,
that.
because, and my son, I was desperate because I was concerned he was going to take his life. And not that because I thought that he actually would, or he never like expressed that, but he would keep everything close to the chest, and then he'd get these random bursts of like extreme anger for like the smallest, like it made no sense, the reaction to the situation. And he would punch himself, and I'd be like, what are you doing? And then I was scared.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I need to find, like, my daughter also needed help, but in different ways. But at the time, for like private practice, it's expensive. So I'm like, I can only afford to do one at the time. And you right now are the urgent need because I'm watching you deteriorate. And my daughter is more like me. She can yap, and she would be like, I really miss my brother today, or I miss my dad, and she'd cry.
Yeah,
and then she'd have a moment and then carry on. But my son was like, I'm fine. No, it's good. No, that's not to do with my dad. What do you mean? No. And I could see, like, dude, it is manifesting.
Yeah.
And so, and the elementary schools did the best they could. I think they got together, like, gave me a donation, which was like so nice. They gave me their school pictures for free, which was like nice, and also sad because a week after he died, or 2 weeks later, I get his school pictures,
From first grade.
Which, by the way, that poor school, if anyone ever listens to this, I'm so sorry, because I called the day, because that was a Sunday. I called the school at 7:30 in the morning in pure shock. Literally, like, I got home that night from taking my kids home from the hospital, and I just laid in Gabriel's bed and held his Hulk pillow, and I just bawled my eyes out. And then I woke up, and I called the school, and I said, my kids will not be coming to school today. And to be honest, I don't know when they will be. They were involved in a car accident, and my son Gabriel died. And the lady on the other line was like, and I was like, yeah, so I'm so sorry they're not, like, I was in
we were all over there the next day. Like,
I was in pure shock. Like, this poor lady, I probably traumatized her unintentionally, but like, I couldn't even.
But also, who thinks that they're gonna have to call the school and tell them that their 6-year-old isn't coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. And so all that to say, I was like, okay, what's something that's a need? And like, we need resources for kids. And so I decided to create this organization called Gabriel's Gifts, where we create care packages for grieving youth. We've done toddler packages all the way through high school packages with age-appropriate resources and
comfort items.
Yeah, so like weighted stuffed animals or weighted blankets, grief journals, grief coloring books, different just like written resources, as well as like stress balls and healthy snacks. And we created this thing called a memory garden, where they can create a living tribute to the person that they love, and memory jars where they can put pictures and items, and memory bracelets. So like little girls that would want to make beads, it has a little card that talks about like how each bead can represent a memory or something. So make them for you and your family and your friends so that you remember your person. And just like little, seemingly small and little things, but just stuff that keeps their memory alive and helps them to process the grief.
Right.
And it has been a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
yeah.
And so it's called Gabriel's Gifts. We made his little rainbow our logo. So it just feels even more special. And truly, I started this, and she has come in because she's a business owner. She's a hairstylist, and she's knows how to do all like the marketing and all of that. And she's just been so great. And like anything I need, like, yes, I'll help you. Oh, the 2 people up here need a care package. I'll fill it and drop it off, or post this, or, kind of helping me in that regard. But I literally started, I got all like, first of all, where do you start? It feels overwhelming.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely,
you're like, but if you don't just start, you'll never start if you're always waiting for the money or whatever. And so like I got all the paperwork done with the state, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to start. And so I just started and started sharing. And then I thought I had this plan, which maybe I will eventually still do, but like of partnering with elementary schools and the schools in the community, because obviously my kids' school was aware, but they had nothing. And so if there's a chance of, hey, we found out so-and-so, this 6-year-old girl lost her whatever, or whoever, I can come and gift them a care package. And I probably still will do that. But truthfully, like since I said yes and just dove in, it's been happening organically, word of mouth. And it's just been like the greatest honor and privilege. Like even if it's just helping 3 kids, like what a gift to be able to give anything, like any source of comfort or resource, or it's just been truly a privilege and a gift.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I mean, the whole time you're even talking about this, I just keep thinking when I lost my friend Ashley, I remember going back to school and they had a big like box for me, and they had things for me, and it was like, you know, like little like teddy bears and stuff like that. But what stuck out to me, my whole class like wrote little letters to me and talked about Ashley and how like awesome she was.
Oh, I love that.
And I still have all of that stuff. And like I like have a little box, and like I was able to get like her number that was on her desk. You know, the desks are numbered, and so I have her desk number.
I love that.
And like her like fair, like first place in the fair or something.
Oh,
like
that's
you know,
so
like
cool.
little things.
Yeah.
And as a 10-year-old girl, though, I was like, sometimes I would just open that little box and see her stuff in there. And
I love that.
her number. And I just remember, though, coming back and feeling so, like, welcomed by, like, my class.
Yeah.
And, like, just that they had just a little something for me. It was just, like, very, very thoughtful. And, you know, 20 years ago, I still, like, very
Think
clearly
about that.
remember that.
That
So-
makes me so
I
happy.
was gonna say, so that's a sign too.
Yes,
that's
because
telling us.
our slogan is grief is heavy because kids shouldn't have to carry it alone. And I think that as adults, it's hard for us to even process it.
Right.
And so, and like even something, not necessarily even death, but like divorce or anything, like we as adults, we learn to process, we carry on, we have jobs, we have things, we have
coping skills.
coping
that are not
skills.
great.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Whether healthy or not, you know, but kids are just left with this like, what?
Yeah, they're
and
confused. Very
you might not be in a
confused.
home where you're allowed to share about the person that's died, or, you know, no one talks about it or whatever. And so just to have this box that they can see, like, you're not alone, your feelings are valid, you're seen, we hear you, like we're walking alongside you, whether it's like little picture books or grief journals or affirmation cards, or we have these worry decks that like help kids, like if they, because a lot of kids will experience anxiety or whatever when things like this happen. So coping mechanism skills, and even like older girls, like a letter writing kit so they can write a letter. We just got a request for a box, for 2 boxes for 2 high school girls, and to be able to put like letter kits in there so they can write a letter to their dad who passed, and just like things that can allow them to process in a healthy way and to feel like supported maybe when they might not have it elsewhere.
Right.
And it's just like the goal.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that's even why we started the podcast, because it was like, you know, Kyle had like struggled off and on with addiction and PTSD and things like that, but it was like, I know so much more now that I wish I could have like used back then.
Totally.
But that's why we're talking about it now, so that it can help other people. So
100%.
that they can help intervene if someone's struggling or just going through mental health issues, you know.
Yeah.
Just like your ex-husband, you know, you're like, I don't know what was going through your head.
Right.
You know, and you just don't know what someone's struggling with. But it's like, I just having resources and maybe trying to prevent tragedies like this, you know, it's just like, even if it just helped one person,
100%.
I would do this over and over again, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy because you're right. Even like my ex-husband, in retros, and even in the moment, I knew like part of our divorce was because he wasn't an alcoholic on the sense of like he was hammered, but every day he's drinking alcohol. We could have, and we were broke, so we could have $15 in our account, and he wanted to stop and get tall cans on the way home.
Yeah.
Like, I want to relax. And we would fight because I'm like, we have 3 children and $15.
Yeah,
like, we get paid in 2 days.
Right.
Like, I'm just trying to relax. I'm not a drunk. Like, I don't get drunk. I just have a beer to relax. And so knowing now in retrospect, like, understanding addiction can look different.
Right.
And clearly he was really struggling mentally, which I was aware of. And like I said, I couldn't be that person for him anymore. But maybe had we been able to step in or help someone else in the future, like, hey, you might not be getting drunk every day, but like there's something going on, or there's an inner issue here that you're masking with your alcohol every day, or whatever it is, because you're right, it looks different for every person. And to be able to have that knowledge now that we have, and we wish it was under different circumstances, but we have it now. And so we have an ability to help others in the future,
Right.
which is huge. And like you said, even one person or one kid or whoever is enough. Like it feels so good.
Yeah, it really does. And like people like you guys listening into the podcast, and it's like we'll get messages from, you know, people all over the place just saying like, I just listened to this episode and it resonated with me so much, you know, and like that is so like helps me to know that we're on the right path.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's like, okay, because sometimes you just want that sign, like, is this my purpose? Is
Yes.
this my calling? Like, this was not supposed to happen, but let me get something good out of it, or give something back to the community to help prevent this stuff, you know?
Totally.
And so it is very rewarding to
It is rewarding.
have good positive feedback on it.
100%.
Yeah. But I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much.
With your foundation, because like I said, I can like relate you talking about that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's such a good thing. I'm so glad you guys are doing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to look into Gabriel's resources, how will they find you guys? Like Instagram, website?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram, which is @_Gabriel's Gifts. We also have a newly created TikTok that I'm working on.
You're like,
okay.
So we're working on it, guys.
I mean, we're building it, but it's a lot of work.
Bear with us. It's
Social media is a lot to.
Oh
it's
my
like
gosh.
a full-time job.
No,
okay?
I know. It's
so
so much. Yeah.
But that's @Gabriel_Gifts. But we also have a website, Gabriel'sGiftsForGrief.com. Our email, you can reach out to us, and on our website too, there's an info section where you can, if you know someone, if you yourself has a child or a teen that's in need of resources, you can reach out, and it sends us an email. We just got an email 2 days ago from a lady through our website and let us know that her kid's dad had died from overdose, and asked, is there any way you could provide resources? And so we have 2 boxes getting shipped out next week.
Oh my gosh.
So you can reach out to us through the website, Gabriel'sGiftsForGrief.com, and just fill out the little form, and we'll be able to get back to you and help that way.
Yeah, I mean, we'll list everything too.
Okay,
so
cool.
if people
I'm
can
like,
see
as I'm
it,
saying, I'm like, this is gonna sound confusing.
Yeah, no, we'll put something down there too, so people
cool.
can access it if they want. But yeah, I just really want to thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you
Like,
for
man, the
having us.
conversation flowed easy with you guys.
Yeah. I'm so glad. We do like to yap.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. I'm a talker.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been an amazing, with the whole day and all week, we were just like, we can't believe we get this opportunity. So it really means a lot to us.
Yeah. Well,
thank you so
guys.
much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Shattered Silence. As always, don't forget to follow us on our socials on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can watch full episodes on YouTube or listen in on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Boom! Yay! Gosh, thank you guys so much. You guys made it super